Hey everybody, Tag Life Done Free. Hey, today I'm going to take a deeper look into energy independence and why it's important. You know, in our world today, with all of the things going on, it is more important today than it has ever been. Being energy independent allows for everything else. So, if you're interested in the reasons to be energy independent, come on, check it out. Well, as many of you know, I recently purchased part of a solar company called Grid Down. In fact, I'm wearing the shirt in honor. Anyway, I did this so that I could continue my quest in helping people live free. I'll put a link to Grid Down in the description. Energy independence may be the single greatest thing we can do to live free and starve the beast. You know, with energy, all other things are possible. See, energy independence makes water independence easier, right? It makes food independence easier. It removes this ongoing need to ask for permission. Our electrical grid is so fragile. It would only require even the smallest of interruptions for you to lose your ability to control your climate, to pump water, or to easily process your garden harvest this fall. To me, just being able to provide for myself is enough reason to become energy independent. But some of you may need further motivation. So today what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about 3 other reasons why becoming energy independent is critical in surviving our ever fragile world. Recently, the U.S. government released information stating that the military was actively searching for and finding hidden malicious computer code inside our critical infrastructure. This code has been planted, they say, by Chinese hackers deep within the critical infrastructure networks of the United States of America and around the world. European countries and Australia both said recently that they found code inserted by the hackers working for the People's Liberation Army, and they say that this code is a ticking time bomb. They go on to say that it has the opportunity to disrupt U.S. military operations in the event of a conflict. When Colin Powell was asked many, many years ago about how he was going to defeat the 5th largest army in the world, and this was just prior to the first Gulf War, his response, I'll never forget it, but he says, it's simple. First, I'm going to cut it off, and then I'm going to kill it, unquote. See, they will cut off the water, right? They will cut off the power. They will cut off the communications. Primarily, they'll want to do it for the military bases. But this very infrastructure that supports the military-industrial complex is the same one that gives you a cell phone, that gives you air conditioning, and yes, gives you running water. This would be the most far-reaching impact of informational warfare that the world has ever seen. There are agencies right now, as we talk right now, working hard 24-hour day to try to understand the scope of this problem. See, the problem's very complex, and they don't even know how bad this is, but when your lights go off, when your water stops, calling your water company to come and fix it or calling your electric company to come and fix it will not be an option. See, these companies cannot operate without those internet-based control systems. People have asked me many times, how realistic do I think the threat of an EMP is? And I always tell them that it will be the second strike in a World War III scenario, but that an email will be number 1. See, our enemies now have the ability to shut you off from all the services, and not just shut you off, right, but to shut the government off in large scale, shut the military bases off in a large scale, but all these services that you and I depend on with a simple email or a simple hack. Right? They don't have to put a missile on a boat and bring it off coast, right? They don't have to launch it from, some other country. It really has become this simple. If they can drop your power and make the lights go out, then they can certainly stop your water and make it so that you don't have access it inside your home. They can stop you from even being able to flush your toilet. Can you imagine what the society would be like without running water, sanitation, air conditioning, electricity, if people couldn't charge their cell phone? Speaking earlier at an intelligence summit, the deputy director of the National Security Agency said that the Volt Typhoon attacks. So guys, the Volt Typhoon attacks they're all over the news. If you just Google Volt Typhoon attacks, these are these malware programs that the Chinese government hackers, whoever they are, have been able to infiltrate. But anyway, they said that the Volt Typhoon attacks demonstrated just how sophisticated China has become. They say China easily got into the government and private sector networks, and that rather than exploit the flaws to gain access, China found a way to steal or mimic the credentials of system administrators or the people who run these operations. Once they had those, the hackers essentially had the freedom to move in and out of the network at any moment in time. And once, they got in and they got these administrators, they could go in and set up anything they want. They can set up back doors. They can do all of these things, which I promise you they did. There have been stories in the news about a thermostat who transmitted information from a refrigerator that got into an email of FBI employees, and kill switches that were found in transformers. And guys, these things are real. They're here today. So they got you warmed up. So let's talk about Russia. I don't know if you guys know this or not. I'm sure most of you do, but Russia has the largest nuclear stockpile in the world. Russia now boasts a stockpile of almost 6,300 warheads, capable of destroying the entire world. Now, this compares to 6,500 warheads for the rest of the world combined. That's right, guys. There are over 12,000 nuclear warheads spread across the globe with only one real mission: destruction. Although Russia's certainly a threat with their 6,300 warheads, the other 65 are an equal threat, right? Back to Russia. So President Vladimir Putin just raised the draft age to 30. So the question is this just a scare tactic, or are they really getting ready for war? I do not believe that NATO, when I talk about NATO, it's really mainly the United States, but I don't think they will ever allow Russia to win. Let me explain. See, the United States standing in the world is already holding on by a string, and there's evidence of this by, the collapsing dollar. You hear about that in the news all the time, to the BRICS nations, right? All of these things. So the standing of the United States is just hanging on. And if Russia is allowed to prevail, it will be seen as another sign of the crumbling American power. It will be seen as weakness. I promise you this, our politicians will hold on to power at all cost, right? They will create false flags, right? We're going to destroy infrastructure. Nord Stream, anyone? Right? We'll assassinate, we'll even use nukes to prevent a Russian win in the Ukraine. So basically, in order for our way of life to continue the way that we enjoy it, the days of cheap fuel and easy electricity depend on Putin backing down. Do you think Putin will back down? Item number 3, I know you've heard me talk many times about the ESG system. And ESG, guys, is no longer a conspiracy. Just Google it. Maxine Waters was just recently said that everyone will have to participate. It's here, it's real, and it's based in control. Imagine a world where the outcome of everything, and I mean everything, is controlled along political narratives. If you say and do the right things, you'll be rewarded. If you challenge or speak against the state, you will be punished. With the new digital dollar that was released just this month, the powers that be will now have the ultimate control. They will determine what you buy, if you can buy it, and how much you're actually allowed. And this includes energy. There will come a time soon where you may not be able to buy energy independence. See, the E in ESG stands for environmental. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but did you know the highest sea temperature ever recorded was recorded this June at 101 degrees? Did you know that June is now the hottest month ever recorded, and it looks like July will probably break that record? Have you ever heard of a government using a crisis to gain more power or more control? I mean, of course not, right? This is complete silliness. These environmental issues will put an additional strain on the grid that is already stressed to a breaking point. They have already started rolling blackouts to lessen the stress. They're going to have to start decreasing the amount of energy we use, but they will not sacrifice their pet projects like electric cars. They will not sacrifice, their military industrial complex. No. They're going to reduce what you and I use. They will control your energy allotment. Think it won't happen? You're in the dark because it's happening now. right? Ask the people of California who are experiencing those rolling blackouts. I mean, what a great way to control energy use, right? I mean, we could just lock people down. But that, I know, silly tag. I don't even know why you guys watch this, right? I mean, they would never do a lockdown, right? That's never going to happen. I mean, this is America, right? India recently suspended exports of rice. And this was big. It was all over the news. But did you guys know that Thailand was only able to produce one crop this year because of the heat? And Vietnam has said that they will soon limit exports of rice. Well, guys, rice feeds the world, and these three countries are the largest producers. But don't worry, Americans. Don't worry. You know, go back to what you were doing because we have wheat, right? Wheat also feeds the world. But how much wheat do you think we can produce without consistent, reliable energy? As most of you guys know, I live completely off-grid. I like doing for myself, and I like having not to ask permission for my electricity. The Chinese malware can't really affect me, can't take my power because it's simply not connected to the system. The Russians, who would have to nuke me directly to shut it down, and guys, I'm just seriously not that important. But most importantly, I will not have to ask the powers that be for my monthly allotment of energy. A rolling blackout here will go mainly unnoticed. Here on the farm, we don't have to carry water. We pump it using our solar system. We can dehydrate, we can preserve our harvest with our solar system. We can charge batteries that allow me to make repairs to all the things that need maintenance. And for any of you guys out there homesteading, any of you guys doing that, there's always something that needs fixed. As I talk to you here today, it's 101 degrees outside, and I'm sitting up here enjoying my air conditioning. All made available because I'm energy independent. If your AC broke, would you go buy another one? If your water stopped flowing, would you do all you could to get it flowing again? To what lengths would you go to have the comforts you're used to? Guys, inflation is going to continue to rise. The price of energy independence is not going to get any cheaper than it is, right now. Now is the time to act. Now is the time before you're caught wishing you would have done something. You can follow the Grid Down link in the description below if you want. You can buy it from me. You can buy it from Amazon. You can buy it from eBay. Either way, it doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day,